was dying, he asked me, he said, "Would you do me one favor, Jerry?" And I said, "Yeah." "What?" He said, "Stop smoking." I said, "Oh, that's easy. I've done that 1,000 times. And, but anyway, when I finally decided to do it, I made a list of all the things that would be different in my life, all the things that would be improved in my life once I stopped smoking. And I had a list of about 60 items, even those days I was traveling constantly. And I kept it over the visor of my car. And for a whole month, all I did was I just bring that and read that list over and read that list, even before I made a decision to go into what I was going to do to finally stop the physical smoking. Is that a form of alignment? And can you give us some idea of a form of alignment?
Well, it's interesting because if you recall the focus wheel, what you're talking about is a similar thing. In other words, you focused upon the positive aspects of what you were reaching for. You brought yourself into alignment energy-wise before you then offered the action or effort. And that's really what we're talking about. Everyone's putting their boat in the stream at a different place. In other words, everyone who's addicted to something is not depressed, and everyone who's addicted to something is not in frustration. In other words, you are where you are. Sometimes an addiction will begin from a psychological place, and the psychological place ceases in time, but the cellular calling is still in place. So there are so many variables. That's why you could not write a book and say, always do this. That's why the 12 steps are beneficial to some and not so beneficial to others. And so the rule of thumb is, with anything that you're wanting to accomplish, find vibrational alignment with the idea of it first, and then take the action that is inspired. And so the vibrational alignment that we are talking about all day, every day, we're talking about closing the gap between who you're allowing yourself to be and who you really are. And when you close that gap, oh, you feel ever so good. Well, the majority of people who are involved in addictions are trying to fill that void with the substance. They'll buy one more thing and bring it home. They get absolved in their work. There are all kinds of aholics that you are talking about, whether it's a workaholic or whether it's an alcoholic. So what we're wanting you to realize is the closing of the gap is a vibrational thing, and the physical thing then comes later. So depending upon where you are, where you're putting your boat in the stream, we would begin a sequence of reaching for downstream thoughts that goes sort of like this. And let's say that you're really in a not good feeling place. So the first thought that you might reach for is, I really hate this addiction and its hold that it has on me. And if you are depressed and you are feeling hate or anger toward this, then that is a breath of fresh air. And you might beat the drum there for a few days. You might say, I hate how it makes my fingers yellow. I hate how it burns holes in my clothes. I hate how it makes my breath stink. I hate how the children always back off from me. I hate that it costs so much to support this addiction. In other words, so you're in this really pushing against, but it feels better than the powerlessness that you felt before. And then we would reach for thoughts that feel a little better. I don't like being out of control in my experience. I don't like not doing a good job of doing what I intend to do. I don't like something having control over me. I don't like waking up and wanting something that I really don't even want. And so emotionally, you are improving the way you feel, because with this angry approach, you're feeling less and less powerless. Now, you may begin reaching for something that feels a little more relief, which might even be an attitude of hope. You might say something like, I hope that I'll come up with an idea that will serve me, and I hope that I will be more in control of my physical experience, and I like the idea of being a deliberate creator, and I'm getting the idea that the universe is cooperating with me, and I like the idea that I can create things, and certainly I should be able to control something that only I have something to do with. I cannot control what the government's doing, and I cannot control what my children are doing, and I cannot control the way my parents treated me, and I cannot control so many things, but I certainly should be able to control what I put in my own mouth. I'm hoping that I'll find something that will work for me. Now, no big improvements happened here. You're probably still utilizing the resources of whatever substance that you have been addicted to, but you have come a long way with those statements. At least you're not so much in that feeling of powerlessness that you were before. Now, from a place of hope, It's easy to find feelings that feel better. From a place of hope, you can then begin saying things such as you were saying on your list, things such as, I'm so looking forward to being in control of my own experience. And I'm almost appreciating that I've had this experience because in knowing what I don't want, I now know more clearly what I do want. And I like to be in charge of my own experience. And I realize that I always have been, I just haven't known it. And if I had known then what I know now, I probably would have never gotten into this experience to begin with. And all is really well in my experience. And even though I'm still participating in this substance, I now know that I have the wherewithal to utilize it or not. And I'm not feeling a reason to need it anymore. I'm feeling more in alignment with who I am. I can feel that I'm more often tuned in, tapped in, turned on. I feel excited about what I'm doing. And I know that I'll be able to take care of this. And if I should begin it and then come back to it, it's no problem because I now know what to do. And I like knowing that there are two aspects of it. There's the me closing the gap aspect, which I've done a pretty good job of here as I've been talking. And there's a cellular calling for it, which I understand that I've introduced to the cells of my body, and they're going to be wanting it for a while. And so it's a matter of coming into vibrational alignment. And once you bring yourself into a place of hopefulness, now you're off and running.
There's great love and appreciation for you here. Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed.